So any volunteers who wants to go first? Daniela is the leader on plant science group, and Anna is the leader, I think. Anna, Jack.
Well, it seems that I'm always the first one, so I was like letting somebody take the lead.
Yeah, maybe if you want to do alphabetically, then we can let animal science group go.
Animal science can take the lead on this one. We're
Okay.
good with that.
Okay.
All right.
Go, Jack. Yeah, I can go ahead.
Yeah. Let me figure out how to share my screen real fast.
It should be on the top right corner, just on the left side of that grid button.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay. We can see ourselves.
Can you see? Hold on. I'm trying to pull up the. Can y'all see my slides?
Uh-huh.
We're good?
Yep.
Awesome. So, my group, we had the animal science data. So it was me, Anna Guerrero, and Priya. And so, with dairy cattle, there are a lot of areas of research that we're particularly interested in. Milk production is obviously the final product, so we're interested in finding out, milk yield, protein, fat content, all that good stuff. Reproductive capacity is probably the most, desired overall in the cattle industry. Heat detection, successful breedings, that sort of thing. We also look at locomotion and lameness scoring in dairy cattle in particular because they are living more in confinement. So that does become an issue as they're more on concrete. That contributes to their overall structural soundness. And then, of course, we're concerned with their overall health. Mastitis, especially subclinical mastitis, is a huge problem in the dairy industry. That's probably where your biggest loss is on that. Also, the BRD complex and any GI tract ailments and illnesses. So precision data becomes extremely important in dairy cattle. And I kind of took, whenever I was making this slide, I kind of took the approach that AG2PI takes overall, or at least from what I interpreted from that. Phenotype is the combination of genotype and environment, as well as the genetic environmental interaction. Phenotype is obviously the express traits. It's what we can see. It's what we can measure. Genotype is the heritable map for trait expression. It's our DNA. And then the environment or any other factors that can contribute to trait expression, nutrition, climate, all that good stuff. For the genetic components, we can narrow that down to simple inheritance or dominance, epistasis, or quantitative and continuous traits, which is what we're more concerned with on these measurable traits, because there's a lot more variation there. For the environmental component of this, we have the temporary and the permanent components of that. And then there's, of course, the genetic environment interaction, which is kind of the whole field of epigenetics, as well as that's talking more with chemical modification of the genome, methylation of histones. Cancer research is really, really interested in that. But ultimately, what we're concerned with is getting the most precise measurements on our phenotypes. And we already know how to sequence the genome, especially in cattle. And so we're trying to, this is kind of a retrospective study determining the effect of the environment and the genetic environment interaction. So we have a couple tools for recording data in dairy cattle. We have the pedometer to obviously monitor movement. This can give us some indication as to disease states, heat detection, that sort of thing. We also have the AFILAB milk analysis machine for any of our traits that we can measure in our milk, protein content, fat content, carbohydrate component, as well as any yield issues there. We have a camera for our BCS, body condition score, I should say, determining just how good a health that cow is ultimately, as well as the locomotion score, how lame they are. And we used thermometers, both body temperature thermometers and temperature thermometers for the environment, as well as a barometer to get a temperature heat index. So for our areas of research for this project that we came up with, we didn't quite accomplish them all, but we wanted to relate health conditions to our pedometer and movement data. That's actually a really, really huge area of dairy research. Milk yield related to grazing. You can also relate that back to days of milk, digestion disorder, displaced abomasum, body condition score, and days in lactation. That's what that lacno is. You can also relate hoof ailments to lameness. That's another big issue there. Lameness and hoof trims, and then the daily temperature heat index related to disease state. Obviously, as you increase heat stress, you're going to increase disease. That's really all it amounts to. And so that's going to impact your milk yield. That's going to impact your movement as well. They're not going to be moving around as much. You can also estimate heat and parturition using a daily motion index. Animals in heat are more liable to move around more. So that's where we got that from. And so here's kind of the procedure that we followed. The first thing that we did was we played around with the variables and the data that we received. We identified and defined those variables with the help of Dr. Sushil, of course. We identified the primary variable, that is the cow ID. We categorized these variables so that we could put them into a schematic or a table. We uploaded that data into the MySQL program onto and compiled our database like that. And then we visualized our data set with Power BI. We did have some technical issues there, so I wasn't able to provide any charts for you. And we interpreted the results. But Priya and Anna are going to talk a little bit more on those programs that we used. Priya, Anna?
So about MySQL, like in the starting, like we have no idea how to use it, and then later on, like we struggled a lot, like to work on that and make few tables. So and also figuring out like what is the terminology in the animal science and what are the different variables that which are more important in defining or representing the whole data. That was most important, like the cow ID and all. So, like, at final, like, we figured out like how to use SQL for any data sets. So that was my only thing to learn from it. So that's it. Thank you.
The Power BI was the visualization tool that we attempted to use. The idea was that we could make graphs or charts with it to properly visualize our data. There were a couple of hiccups, mostly relating to how large the data set was and the cow ID number itself. All of the cow IDs that were used to mark which an individual cow rather have numbers, and so whenever we tried to show the visualization based on each individual cow or as a group of cows, or just to sort out by cow ID, the software thought it was just a count, and so it tried to do mathematics on it and often told me that I should do standard deviations when in fact these are just fixed numbers that don't need math completed on them. So you spit out a lot of charts that really don't mean anything, and that's why we chose not to add them to our presentation. Otherwise, you would be seeing something a lot more colorful.
All right, thank you guys. Let's go on to the next one. So I meant to add arrows onto this, but I didn't. These two are your primary keys, your cow ID and your date associated with the measurements. But the daily MI steps, we are going to include that in the same line of our database or our same table. Daily steps, daily change, lameness, trim, all of those that related to foot ailments and of course to movement. We also did the days of milk, lactation number or parity number. If this is our first calf, second calf, as well as milk yield on the same table. Again, using the same primary keys. Our heat alert, bred 1 through 6, calving date, all of our reproductive deals on there. You could also throw pyometra on there as well if you really, really wanted to, but that's more of a disease. So we opted to throw it right here under our disease table. We also included the daily temperature heat index just because that has such a huge impact on overall health and disease. And then we put all of our body condition scores on the same table and just left it as is. So because there were 13 different scores taken 15 days apart, I believe is what we figured out. So it just seemed more practical to put them all on the same table for our database. So I understand that you wanted to hear a little bit about what we thought of the internship, what we can improve, what we should sustain. And so I created a little AAR, a little after action review. It's a tool that most militaries use. So our training goals are to understand generating systems in the database and to utilize the database to develop data-driven tools for precision phenotyping. These were the two goals that were for us students. Now, the objectives of the training initiative as a whole, I found this on the AG2PI website. The first objective was to organize a summer training internship program for undergraduate students with a background in animal science, crop science, and computer science. I'd say that objective has been effectively completed. And the second objective is to develop a training manual on big data management in agriculture. Now, this objective was supposed to come, after this first round of training because we are the initial cohort, of course. And so I imagine, given a little bit of time, that one will be completed as well. Now, the training topics that we were introduced to were the introduction and discussion of data collection and necessity across the disciplines, database creation with MySQL, and data visualization using Power BI. Pretty much everything springboarded off of that. So some of the sustains that we identified for the program, first of all, student involvement, interaction, and application through the group project. That was amazing. All of the groups were, segregated across the discipline groups. And we were assigned data that we weren't necessarily, familiar with. I was good with the animal science data, but my two partners weren't necessarily as competent, or not as competent, but as confident with. Whereas the other group, if I was thrown into the plant science group, I would be learning along the way, same as they did. So I thought that was extremely neat that I got to work with two very talented individuals from across different disciplines. Ground up training to familiarize students with unfamiliar and other disciplines of agriculture. I hit on that on the last point. The quality and the frequency of training was amazing. It was very easy to balance with, with other initiatives that we were taking, that we were doing. Most of the summer I was working in a veterinary clinic, and towards the end of the summer I was putting a roof on my house. I was able to do a lot of other things and still maintain this internship and still get the quality of training that I ultimately needed to become better at, better at visualizing data, better at creating databases, that sort of thing. And then the small group setting promotes excellent quantity and quality of discussion. There was never a point in this that nobody was, absolutely free to speak. And so questions were not only encouraged, they were an integral part of this. And so the discussion in this was almost, if not just as valuable as the training. So a couple things that we could improve on for the next cohort potentially. The schedule of training events, topics, and required software should be released to students earlier on, I think. I think that we could have saved a little bit of time in training if y'all just uploaded, here's how you download MySQL and here's how you play with a sample data set. Or like in the training, you could have us follow along. That's one thing, that was one area that I identified at that time. Clearly communicated guidance and expectations for the group project was a big one too, because for a while we were kind of scrambling, figuring out what to do. I speak for Anna and Priya and myself whenever I say that. For a while, we just needed a little bit more guidance and a little bit of clearer communication on that. Also, weekly AAR, after action review or summary of events after each training would have been nice. That coincides with the objective 2, this develop a training manual on big data management in agriculture. Perhaps you could release that to the students week by week as we do it. And then this is just one personally that I had was to segue into AG2PI at a larger scale. Give us a little bit of information on opportunities, the mission of this ultimate organization and initiative, and how this training directly applies to it. So with that, I don't have anything else. Anna and Priya, do y'all have anything else to say?
I just wanted to say that uh, we we really enjoyed, or at least I really enjoyed being able to work on this with Jack and Priya. Um, and that even though we didn't quite get the results we wanted to with the visualization in the end, we still learned a lot, and I'm grateful for the experience.
Any more comments from Priya?
Uh, that was a nice experience from this internship. I mean, I love working with Jack and Anna. I mean, they're super talented, and Jack was helping all the way, like about the animal science, and Anna was doing the Excel stuff, like organizing everything, and I was figuring out how to do in this MySQL. So that was, yeah, I mean, Jack shared like every point of view that we were struggling and focusing on that. So that's thank you, Jack, for the nice presentation. I mean, I liked it.
All right. Do y'all have any questions for us?
That was really a great overview, Jack. I really liked it how you started, and I think AAR was my favorite. I think that you hit a lot of those points that we discussed, and I love the after AAR. And this is great. I think we have accomplished what we wanted to do, and you guys were phenomenal. Even within like short time frame, we didn't have enough time for you to practice to practice the software. Everything was brand new, given to you within a month, and you had. It's phenomenal. You have come up with a product, and I really am proud of all of you, all this team, like animal science team, and I like it. A small request as well. So maybe for our reporting as well, if you all could share with us the SQL document that you put up, I think that we might need to upload that to the server and share it with the funding agency as well. So that's the only part I request. But I think Power BI, yes, that tool kind of gets tricky sometimes if you are not familiar with working with it, and I understand the frustration and confusion that's coming from the cow ID. I totally get it. It's all numbers, and yeah, it kind of starts getting funky if you have all numbers put it on the Power BI. But overall, great presentation, great teamwork. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And I think I'd like to give this opportunity for other group to ask the questions to this group. And maybe Tapas, if you have any comments, and Jose, you guys have been very supportive on the SQL part. So if you have any comments, then feel free to. Okay, are there any questions from the members of another group?
Uh, no, just a quick comment, Mahendra. For many of them, it was uh, they they never experienced, any programming before. So I think it was a very good opportunity for them to learn about it. There are many languages, and believe me, just knowing one of them can open many opportunities for yourself, and hopefully, you can go in that direction. I understand, it was a big challenge, but many of you have overcome that challenge, so you should be very, very happy with your work.
And I do have one quick question to maybe animal science with dear, maybe Jack will have the answer. Do you think you might need to take courses on database management or data science? Would you be interested on kind of like finding some trainings on data management, data analytics, or something like that? Does this sort you kind of, brought up an attention to you or any of these students that, okay, this might be something that will be useful in your research or in your career?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at getting taking my studies into genetics further, potentially getting like a dual DVN PhD along the way. And genetics has always been something that kind of fascinates me. And so, if I'm going to be successful in genetics in any capacity, I need to learn how to use a database, and I need to get better at using a database. That's all it really amounts to. Bioinformatics, you have to be good on a computer if you're going to succeed in genetics.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, hopefully one of the objectives that we kind of thought at the very beginning when we started the discussion about submitting the proposal is how we can, make the students or encourage the students think outside of their box, like outside of their comfort zone on plant science, because data science is getting into like a really going to be a future in a few years. So that was the idea of this program, is to how we can encourage the plant science, animal science students to pursue some of the even courses or trainings in database and data science side as well.
Yeah, and a small follow up on that, like you will be getting in project a survey. So pretty soon after we're done with the meeting, you will receive a survey from me. So please fill out the survey and send it to us. I think that would be very helpful.
Okay. Sounds good. And
Before going, I just wanted to add a small comment. And like I really wanted to congratulate the team that they really worked hard on the designing the database. So yeah, we know like when you are coming from a different background, so it might be like pretty good. Like it might be easy for a computer science major who is having prior experience, but you guys have done a absolutely fabulous job. Like you guys struggled and learned it. So mostly that is what the goal of this internship, and we are pretty much aligned, I think, and so that's the reason. Like I just wanted to congratulate to both the team that they are finally they're able to design the database, and they are quite happy with the internship, and so yeah, so that is a good thing. I can got it from the students, and they really get an interest to take some subject, and they for the database and other data science thing, and I saw like they did some kind of research on Power BI as well. So this is really a good thing. Yeah, thank you all.
okay, with that, now the plant science group. Any of you can take a lead and share the screen. Jack, do you? Yeah, okay. Who's going to go first in plant science group?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So. Okay, can y'all see my screen? Hello?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Where's it? Oh. How do you switch it?
You can type, go up in the display settings and then
Okay.
stop.
There we go. Can y'all see better? So I had the UAV plant science data. So before I start my presentation, we decided to break it up into everybody got a specific sheet. So there, Kim had gotten canopy cover, Harsha got in canopy height, and I got canopy volume. So this is my part of the canopy volume. And then I'm going to show you how I was able to link two different sheets together. So in MySQL Workbench, this is my data for canopy volume. The way that we did this, we were told to ask a question that we wanted to see out of the data. So what I wanted to see personally, if you see here, I wanted to see what the plot row was, the plot name, and the dates that were there available. And I only wanted to see it on row 6. So I wanted to show you how I put the code in. And over here in the bottom, if you can see, I put question mark B and B itself, because these represent borders in the field, and I didn't want that. I wanted specifically the different types of varieties and treatments that were in the field. So once that was done, I would export it and I would get this Excel file. So to not bombard y'all with all the data, I just made it very simpler. So I only wanted to see the results out of this specific treatment, out of all these dates. So this is what I got out of my results for canopy volume. As you can see, it just keeps going up as the days progress. And you can see from here the different types of rows there were. They go in order based on the way you placed it in the data sheet. And so I wanted to see what was the relationship between canopy volume and canopy height. So I put the grid row in the plant, like the planting date and the name, and the only date I wanted to see was out of May 6th. So I did the same process. I put also that I did not want to see the borders, and I copied and pasted over here to the canopy height, and I started, and my results were this. And as you can see here in the bottom, it's canopy volume, and on your left hand side it is the canopy height. And as you can see throughout the different types of treatments, as the taller the plant is, the higher the canopy volume. If I added more dates into it, you would see more of how the different treatments progress as time goes if I added more dates. But I didn't want to make it so big and be more bombarding, so I based it off of one treatment and one planting and one date. That is it for my presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, all.
Mhm.
Uh,
Sure,
so
sure.
coming to my thing, like as Daniela said, we had splitted our topic among three different. So mine is canopy height. Unfortunately, I could not share my screen because I could not open in my laptop as I forgot my charger in the center there itself, so I could not open in my laptop. Last time when I was talking about that, I already said showed Mahendra like what I was working on. Jose and me was working together to write some code if how we want to just extract the data from only a single date or a particular row or particular name variety of the crop. So that one was that is the one where I was working. And last time Mahendra gave me a question like regarding he was asking me like to find out the values in between a certain number, like less than 0.05 or like that something. I had worked around that, but I could not find. So I am just waiting to talk with Jose and make that like see how it works and go well. And the other thing is, Daniela and me has been discussed like today on the graph she made, and I was asking her, so if she could say me tomorrow, like how she did and what is the thing to put in their code, so I can work on that too. Um, I even like joined late to this internship program, but it is a good experience for me. Like I had learned a lot of things, the MySQL software, how to use it, and how to write a code. Uh, Google helped me a lot in finding those, and I also went through some of the videos in YouTube see how to write the code. And I thank Jose for helping me all the way in writing the code and support given by our team. Daniela helped me a lot in writing the knowing everything, and Mahendra shared me the videos, so I went through them. So that's what for the internship, and it's a great opportunity for me to learn about the MySQL and the other data analysis doing in those things.
So I think maybe Daniela will talk a little bit more about what pros and cons, I think, out of this internship program and how difficult was it for to follow up on MySQL, and then we can open up for any kind of questions.
Mahendra, I couldn't hear you, but you wanted me to talk about my experience with MySQL?
Uh-huh. Your experience in the overall project, overall program.
When we got the Excel, I was thinking firsthand, what in the hell did I get myself into? Um, because I've never done anything with computers, coding. That is not something that I'm come from, especially for my background. I was taught very old fashioned, and it was a very 180 experience. It was a lot of, I don't want to say tears, but a lot of frustration. Mahindra, you know that firsthand, um, and many people that are in the groups. But it took a lot of like just learning, getting, just being determined and trying to see how to fix it. It also took a lot of, I can't say YouTube because YouTube did not help me at all, but I asked one of the data analysis and Jose Luis to help me as I go. I only bombarded Jose Luis towards the end when I wanted to do my finished project, and he was the one that taught me how to get rid of borders. So that was very helpful in his process in helping me learn on this step and teaching me how to code. I think it's really important that I learn how to use my SQL and learning how to code for later on when I want to pursue my master's and my doctorates, to be able to do data analysis as I go with my research when I do my research. But overall, my experience was really good. Yes, we had I feel like everybody can agree we did hit a lot of bumpy roads throughout the process of this internship, but how Jack said it, we are the first ones, we are the first cohort. There's a lot of room for improvement, and I hope we get funding for the next season, for the next group, because this is something that can be groundbreaking, and this is something that we need in agriculture and in animal science data.
That was the whole purpose, and even for us PAs as well, it was kind of a very new experience to put together multidisciplinary students and then multiple institutions together. So it was a very new and very good experience for us as well. Thank you for summarizing that, Daniela. And I think Kim, she was not able to attend the meeting, but we'll take an update on what her experience was throughout the process. And with that, I'd like to open up for any questions to the panel.
I just have one question. Daniela, I really like the data analysis part you have done. So which tool you have used for the data analysis?
Can you repeat that?
Can you come again?
Can you repeat what you said? Because I couldn't hear it. It would cut off of my end.
Okay, okay. So like I really like the data analysis what you have shown, like how the data planting, like when the days are going on, the we can see like how the data is fluctuating the day by day and it's keep on increasing. So I just I'm asking like which tool you have used for the data analysis.
Like, who helped me?
No, no, no. Which tool?
I
Oh,
think
which two?
Yeah.
I used Excel to create the graph after I did my table in my SQL.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you're asking, I used a simple line graph. Well, a plotted line graph. I had to play around with it a lot, but that's how I did it.
Yeah, yeah. That's really looking nice. So yeah, that's why I just wanted to know like which tool you have used. You told some the tool. What is the tool name you told?
I think purpose he generated the table in MySQL and then exported in Excel and then plotted the graph in there.
Oh, oh, okay, okay, yeah, I got it. Oh, that's really nice. That looking very good. Okay,
Thank you, Tapas.
yeah, thank you, Daniel.
Any more questions for Daniela and Harsha?
Are we missing Esther from the
Mhm.
team or okay? Yeah. Do you have do any of the team members have their presentation?
From Esther?
No, I don't have it. I think one part of this internship, I think that this would probably be my con of the internship, is that it's very hard that we all communicate very long distance. And then I'm pretty sure she works and then I work and we're all on different schedules. So it's very hard for us to kind of sit down and meet up. And another thing I've been having issues is that our emails don't go through each other. It takes a long while. So that's, I think, a thing that we have hard is communication. And I'm pretty sure with the rest of the groups, it's hard that we are all trying to fix 6 different schedules and meet in one day, and communication and technical issues can always happen.
Yeah, and I think I really appreciate bringing that up. I think Daniela, you had a really good presentation with all the slides and the codes you did. I think that was what we obviously wanted to come out of this internship, and those slides would be very helpful whenever we prepare our final reports, and just to show that we wanted something like this for all students and all groups, and of course the final database that you created on MySQL. I think we would, if we could get those, we will need to upload those and as an evidence that you all did an awesome job for creating a database and working with it. So awesome job, team. I think plant science team, you all did really a great job. I like the analysis portion. You went one step ahead and did the correlation analysis and did that graph. That was good as well. So that's how you start learning, how you start making sense of data. And I think that should be a really good training for you. As you said, you wanted to go to master's, a PhD program. That's one skill that you will need on your database. So awesome job, team, and yeah, great presentation.
Dr. Lucy is here. Dr. Lucy, do you have any questions or any comments?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry for late. Unfortunately I missed the first presentation, but since the animal science team did a very good job, and also same for the plant science. I think you all did quite a good job. I think I actually congratulations to everyone to complete this internship. It's been, it seems you all learned something new, particularly how to use SQL language. So even if we use Excel daily a lot, but sometimes if you can use SQL, do some coding, it will be more flexible. And you will learn, you will definitely get a benefit from having this skill in your future. So yeah, so congratulations again for everyone. Yeah, I think I'm happy with whatever you have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lucy. Any more comments from the students? Maybe animal science group, do you have any questions on what Daniela presented?
I did have a comment on Daniela's in regards to scheduling and being so long distance. I got the opportunity to commute to the AgriLife Center, and so I got to meet Harsha, Daniela, Priya, and all the plant science people. And I felt like I had I had a better understanding of how their schedules worked when I got to see them every day. In addition to the fact that being at the AgriLife Center allowed me to learn about plants. Like I got to learn about cotton and a bit about corn while I was there. And so I felt like I truly got all three parts of the internship, whereas I think Jack might not have gotten any amount of plant except for in the lectures that we learned. And so if it is possible logistically, financially, I think that it would be a good idea to have all the students go to either College Station or the AgriLife Center to do the internship together. So we're all seeing each other every day and, doing doing the work together.
That was the exact point that Susil and I were talking yesterday, that our conclusion from this is, yes, there are some hiccups and all those things, but this interdisciplinary training should be in person, and this should be in one location, and then we as a supervisor can communicate more often, and as a group also you don't have those communication hiccups as well. That is what we concluded yesterday too.
Yeah, I also like this idea. I think that would be great if in the future, students can meet together. So even if we can maybe some hybrid, sometimes we meet together, sometimes online. Online is quite flexible, but actually if we can meet together, will be more interaction or learn better from each other and all know each other better. So I think in the future we definitely probably should have this component as well. Even if I know it's difficult to make commit all time for this project or go to every life or whatever, but maybe like once or twice a week, something like this might be helpful.
Maybe if possible to have them together in AgriLife or together in AgriLife or college station or town station, 3 to 4 days or some, at any point during the project would have been better, I think.
And also, putting the face into the name, I think, yes, you meet over the Zoom, you meet students, and it's different when you meet personally and have that interaction and even learning as well. If you have somebody to go and show your codes or maybe have and get help installing the software and stuff, I think that would be more helpful if we can get everything together. So I agree with all the discussion. I think that's where we might need to focus whenever we present this to the agency.
Okay. Any more comments?
I wanted to give one more comment. So I wanted to thank Dr. Bhandari and Dr. Sushil and Dr. Lucy for thinking out of the box to create a program like this, which really helps. Like we all from different background, from different area of our study, but we came across through one umbrella and we learned from each other. I learned from plant science and animal science. Maybe they learned a little bit of computer science thing. So it's really a good program, and I really thanks to all of three of you, especially thinking about this program and organizing it. It is really out of box thing. I never saw this thing like ever happening in my wherever in my knowledge. I never saw this kind of thing. I really appreciate for this kind of program. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tapas.
And likewise, Jose and Tapas, I think you guys were very crucial for the whole internship. I know you were technical support. You did some like presentations. You were acted like technical support, and this thing would not have been possible without you all's involvement in the project. And I really appreciate all your involvement, your help, and I really thank you for being a part of the group.
Yes, thank you, Tapas, and also Jose for your big help.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be part of it.
And again, like all the students, if we come up with an opportunity in the future, I really expect you all to be on the forefront for applying, and I hope you all will be interested in getting more advanced maybe training and stuff if we have those opportunities come in the future. And like I said, we need this kind of workforce. We need these skills in our students, whether you go for an industry job, whether you go for an academia, we are in need of this kind of skill. So if we come across other opportunities, just feel free to reach out to us. Or if you have any other ideas, feel free to reach out to us as well. And if you have a question, if you have a project in mind, anything that's burning, even we finish it today, even if we wrap up our session today, feel free to reach out to us. Let's the communication going, and let's keep our collaboration growing. So I'll be expecting to get in touch with all of you, or maybe hopefully meet everyone at the TMUCC, or whenever I'm down at Corpus Christi. I would really like to come and talk to you at some point. So yeah, let's keep in touch and keep the discussion rolling. I think that was really helpful for me.
Yep. Okay. And with that, let's conclude this session for today, and then conclude the entire internship. And again, thank you all for being the part of it. And Sushil will be following up with the surveys, and then if you can fill up and return the surveys, then I think that will be the last item on the to-do list. Okay.
Yeah, thank you all for being a part of the team, and I hope to get to work with you in the future as well. So thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Let's keep in touch, and good luck with your future work.
Yep. Good luck with all of you. Bye bye, guys.
Okay, thank you.